Sam, when we spoke to you last time about Diamond Legend, you said that he'd be better at Sha-Tin over a bit longer. Was it a bonus then to get that win at Happy Valley?
Well, yeah, well, any win's a win, but he was very impressive that night. Paul and I do think he's got that, great ability, and that night we just had to ride him quiet, and they had a race run to suit. He did have a long way to, a lot of ground to make up, but he won quite easy in the end. So I think the step up to 1400 on Saturday at Sha-Tin is going to be ideal. Unfortunately, he hasn't drawn all that well again, but wherever he is in the run, he's just got to be travelling and getting a nice cosy run somewhere. He'll most likely probably be back in the field again, I'd say, but he'll be hitting the line very strong.
You're going very well at the moment. You've got a 17% strike rate, second only to Joe Moreira. Has it been a good start of the season, do you feel?
It's been a great start to the season. I wasn't expecting the start that I've got off to. I was probably expecting a bit more time to get off the mark, but working very hard and receiving tremendous amount of support from a wide variety of owners and trainers, and we just got to keep consistent and keep it going.
Last season, a lot of your support came from John Moore. Obviously, Tommy Berry's here this season. Was it something that you deliberately set out to spread yourself out a bit wider this season?
Most definitely, yeah. And it was something that I sort of worked on a fair bit last season as well. Even though John Moore was my main supporter and I was working very closely with him, I still focused on making sure I kept everybody happy. And I think perhaps maybe that's what's put me in good stead for this season. And I've just continued to work hard with with everybody, and I'm receiving some good amount of support.
Tommy, you've done a lot of work with Rocketeer. What are your expectations for Saturday with him?
I reckon he run really well. He's really caught my eye, this horse. He's a big, strong individual. He gives you a great feel, covers the ground very nice, and his work's been sensational since I got here. So expecting a bold showing from him first up. Obviously he'll improve once he gets over a little bit further, but I think he's got a bit of speed and his legs run well.
You actually rode him at his second start here in one of these fly-in, fly-out missions of yours. Have you noticed a change in him over the last 6 months?
Yeah, I didn't even really realise that I'd ridden him because I went back through his form. I think it was only 2 or 3 days ago, and saw that I'd ridden him and watched the replay, and he's a completely different horse. He was very raw, very green when I rode him back then, and I didn't really have much of an opinion of him at all, to tell you the truth. But as I said, he's really made that big improvement. He had them couple of really good runs, obviously the win at the end of last preparation. That can give him a lot of confidence, and obviously went out on a good note. And John's given him the necessary time, but he's sort of the head of our Derby hopes at the moment. He's the one that's up and going.
Zack, you rode Spotlight Dream on the weekend. You've also ridden Amazing Moment, who runs in the same race. Was it your call, though, to go with Spotlight Dream?
Oh, I didn't think Amazing Moment would get my weight.
What about Spotlight Dream? First up, what's your experience been like with him?
He's a nice enough horse. He's been good in his trials. He's still quite inexperienced here. He hasn't quite learned when to change his legs at the right times. So he's going to need to do that in the race if he's going to be competitive.
Is he going well to be first up there with a chance?
He's going well enough. He's a little bit on the soft side, and he might want blinkers to keep him a little bit more focused. He tends to lose concentration a little bit, but for his first time here in Hong Kong, he's well enough.
Little Giant, Zack, how's his preparation been?
It's been good. He's continued to work well. His barrier trial was good, so it's good to have him back at the races.
Was it a surprise that he's running on the dirt first up?
When you get into Class 2, there's not too many options. Unfortunately, we're forced to run in this race.
He handles it okay, though?
He's trialled well on it, yep.
And this could be 400 wins here in Hong Kong for David Hall. What's your association been like with David?
In more recent times, it's been pretty good. I think I went 8 years without having much of a ride for him, but recently it's been good. It'd be nice to get 400, his 400th winner for him.
Karis, pretty BAUHINIA, he's second up on the weekend. What do you think of his first run?
Yeah, his first run was good. It was actually the first time that he's shown a little bit of more energy and a nice finish. I was very impressed with that, and also after that he pulled up very good, so I was happy with altogether.
In that race, were you happy the way he was travelling? Because just looking at it, there were a couple of times where it looked like you had to work at him a bit.
Yes, me just wanted the horse to travel in the race because he's always drop out, and he didn't want the horse to drop out. And I think he's a type of horse that the more you get him into the race, the more concentrate and focus he gets. Once you just leave him out, he will just lose focus and he doesn't want to put it in. So we had to just be very positive on him, and I think this is why he ran a good race.
Has that barrier trial brought him on?
Yes, it was just a nice, easy trial, but of course, I think that first run has definitely bring him on. He felt very good in the trial. I think he's going to the race spot on.
And just looking at the race as well, there's another one at Regency Bobo that you rode last time out. How would you compare the two horses?
They are totally two different horses. Of course, Regency Bobo got the ability also, but I did not have a choice of choosing any of them. So I mean the other horse. So I was pretty happy to be on my ride because I think he definitely go in with a big chance.